Us through the Nsfas processes. Mr. Mgoni?
Thank you, Ma'am Tebogo Mgoni. Is it afternoon or morning? What time is it?
It's morning.
Okay. Morning, colleagues. I'm going to refer you as colleagues. You are welcome to Ekurhuleni East Tibet College, Springs Campus. My name is Mr. Tebogo Mgoni from Hammanskraal, the Senior Financial Aid Officer based at the head office of the college. So I'm responsible for overseeing all the financial aid issues. It could be Nsfas, it could be trust funds, it could be CETA bursaries or any other private bursary we have within the college. So any financial aid issue that we have in the college, it goes through me. As Mr. Ngozi has mentioned, I report to Mr. Ngozi, he's the assistant director, I'm the senior. I have 5 people at every campus who do the financial aid at campus level, and they report to me. Mr. Masala, you can move the slide. I think we are all familiar with Nsfas, the old Nsfas. So Nsfas was promulgated in 1999. From Nsfas to this is just the background from Nsfas to Nsfas. Can we move? I'm not going to dwell much on the background. Can we also move past the policy principles? Remember, colleagues, I'm going to be sharing the presentation. So we're going to collect your email addresses and then we'll share the presentation. You'll go through the presentation point by point by yourselves. So these are the general conditions for a person to be funded by Nsfas. Firstly, I see here I've omitted the issue of any person or any student who wants to be funded by Nsfas must be a South African citizen. Firstly. Secondly, the student must be registered or intending to register for a ministerial recognized qualification. There are qualifications that are not funded by Nsfas, which are not ministerial. Most of them you'll find they are short courses. ICDL in the olden days, I don't know if it's still there. International Computer Driving License, it was not funded by Nsfas. What is this one? The skin one? The cosmetology. Courses like cosmetology, they are not funded by Nsfas. Health racing also was not funded by Nsfas in the previous. Those are the short courses. Florist. Remember, we have a broad range of courses in the defense sector. We have to have florist, we have to have cosmetology, hairdressing, and the likes. So hairdressing now is being funded by Nsfas. And then the student, Nsfas only funds public institutions. It's either a public college or a public university. That's where Nsfas operates from. Can we, no, don't move the slide. I'll tell you to move the slide. If a student, but this thing I think is more operational, I'll just give the top part. You can move the slide, Mr. Musha. So as Mr. Khalaga was addressing here, we have 2 types of, or let me just say 3, for the sake of 4, for the sake of PLP. We have PLP, which is funded by Nsfas. We have NATED Report 191, N4 to N6. Previously there was engineering N1 to N6. Those are the qualifications that are funded. They are ministerial qualifications. NCV qualifications with the minimum requirement being grade 9 and occupational. By occupational meaning courses like your welding, your carpentry, it's an occupational course. So there were courses that we have, actually we have a artisan development center called ASDC as a college, where they offer occupational skills like welding, like carpentry, like, you remember we are geared we are geared towards self-employment of students. So we don't just give you a qualification. You should also have a skill. When you go out into the job market, you can also market yourself, start your own business, and then create employment for other people. So we have a list of occupational programs approved by the minister that are funded within the college. I think it was electrical engineering that is currently approved within our college as an occupational program. Those are the qualifications that are covered by the funder, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. Can we move to the next? So academic eligibility criteria in TVET colleges. A bursary may only be awarded to students progressing. Academic eligibility meaning a student, when they first apply for Nsfas, they are processed looking at the financial background. When I'm a student and I'm new, I apply for Nsfas, they first look at your financial background or your family household income. And then after you are approved and you're on the system, the following cycle, it could be a trimester, it could be a semester, it could be a year. You are now being assessed looking at your progression. So the normal progression requirements, the standard progression requirements that we have as mentioned by the funder is that for NCV it's 7 subjects, meaning you must pass 5 in a particular exam sitting for you to be funded in the next year. For report 191, it means you must pass 3 during one exam sitting, not 2 different exam sittings. One exam sitting for you to be progressed on the fund in the following year. A bursary, I think but once there's a rule that says there's an exception to every general rule. If you did a bit of law somewhere, you'll know there will be a rule, but there will be an exception. So as a college, we reserve the right to say, even though Nsfas is saying 5 out of 7, 3 out of 4, we can say 7 out of 7 or 4 out of 4, depending on us to say what kind of direction do we want to take as a college so that we can advance academic excellence. Can you move to the next slide? So this is the N+1 rule. The N+1 rule, it basically means a student or an applicant is given a prescribed time to be on the fund. If you are at university, you are doing LLB. LLB is normally 4 years. It means you are given 5 years to complete. So with us, we have trimesters, we have semesters, we have NCV, which is an annual course. So NCV, its duration is 3 years. So a student who's on NCV is afforded an extra year to complete any outstanding subject. So it means the student is supposed to be on the fund for 4 years. For report 191, if we have 3 semesters in terms of business studies, it means they are afforded 1 extra semester to complete whatever they have left behind. And when it comes to, I don't think this thing has been revised. When it comes to engineering, we have 6 trimesters, am I correct? N1 to N6. So it means N1 to N3. N3 was an exit level. A student could exit at N3 and go and do artisanship or look for employment. So it means when it comes to report 191 engineering, you are afforded 2 extra terms of study to complete your studies. So academic progression, that's what it says. It says it's the outer limits for the duration that a student may receive financial aid from the funder. Thank you, Mr. Msar. You can progress. So this is similar as the previous slide. Academic progression pathways, meaning when I'm studying here, I'm doing N4, N5, N6, and then I want to go to N1, for example. If it was still here, it is not allowed. So basically what this is saying, I'm going to put it in simple terms. Nsfas, it funds vertically. It goes up. You cannot do 3 years at the UNISA and come to a Tibet college and start a new program here. So once you are at the UNISA, you've already exhausted or you've already killed an opportunity for Tibet colleges. But students at the TVET college have the opportunity once they finish their last level or they have graduated within the college after doing their in-service training, they are afforded another opportunity to apply to university to be funded for that. Remember, my understanding would be we have N1, N4, N5, NC. It's a part qualification. Ne? It's coupled with experiential training to make it a full qualification. Experiential training is not funded by Nsfas. It's something that is students are hosted by employers that pay stipends and all that. So for me, N4, N5 is part qualification because in the past, or Nsfas it says we fund you for your first qualification. In university, it's 3 years, it's a full qualification. They fund the full, they don't fund a part qualification. That is why they are given an opportunity to ascend with the fund to universities. That's basically what it means, progression pathways. It funds vertical. Can we move to the next slide, Mr. Mthala? This one is more operational. These are appeals where students are rejected. It could be any rejection, it could be income, household income, it could be in terms of returning students, it could be academic progression, it could be students not providing accurate or complete information to the funder. Then you will see them dancing on TV, but if you take them one by one and check their applications, you'll see things. So we worry when they dance because we say, I know that one. I know that one is not complying. So those are appeals. Students are given an opportunity to say, yes, my mother is earning 350 or more, but the money is looking after we have an extended family, we have relatives, especially with us, the black people. Once you start working, there's black tax. The majority, not all of us. Maybe at home you are living in a shack, you must start building a house first. At home you must pay for your little sister's tuition at university. So those are the things that you can put forward in terms of when a student asks, but I've been rejected because of 350. Those are the arguments you put forward in your appeal to say to the funder, yes, I am more than 350 when it comes to income, but my income is covering 1, 2, 3, so I will not be able to pay for the fees. For the student. We can move, Mr. Mthala. Move, I think this is a very, very low cost of study covered by Nsfas. Nsfas funds your tuition, which is the primary goal of Nsfas. Tuition so that you can graduate and get one qualification. But there's an added cost that is covered by Nsfas. There are allowances that we have within the TVET sector. We have 4 kinds of allowances within the TVET sector. We have transport allowance for students who are residing in and around the campus, which means the students who are from here, Tsakane, Davidton, Duduza and all that, they are given transport to commute to and from the college on a daily basis. And that transport is coupled with living allowance. A living allowance is for students to buy lunch, for example, at college when they are here during the day. And then we have something that we call a personal care allowance. A personal care, it was an idea that we proposed back in 2018 to say we are tired of blessers. So we need money for students to do their own hair. But it's still continuing either way. To do their own hair, to do their own nails, to buy their own toiletries, so that we can get rid of the blessers. Because students come here with a diploma, they go back home with a blessing diploma. And then those are that's the first part of the allowance. We also have accommodation. Luckily, we have private accredited process that is going on at the present moment. Previously, we didn't have accredited accommodation. The president said, why are you paying people you don't know? They tasked Nsfas to say, go back and accredit so that we know we are paying who, where, and how much, and who are those people staying there, unlike in the previous years. Luckily for us, we have rest. We also administrate rest within its situated here at Springs campus. We have students who are funded by Nsfas, and Nsfas is paying us directly for their rent in the hostel or the rest. We only give them the food and the personal care allowance, so that they can do the other. So we take the rent, we give them the other allowance. And then accommodation is also coupled with those allowances that I've just mentioned. Ne? So with the private accommodation, that process is we are part of the pilot project as Ekurhuleni East College. We are busy, or the funder is busy accrediting facilities around. They are coming and checking, accrediting, giving them certificates or occupancy or whatever certificate they give them. And then those people, after they are accredited, we give them students to go and reside there, so that we know if I can take a car and go somewhere here, I'll go and check. I'm going next week to check 2 accommodation that have just been accredited just here in front of the campus. So I will be going there just to check what is, when the AP provide the pictures, what is on the picture and what is there in reality. Is it the same? Okay, can we move to, so we have distance studies. You know, distance like UNISA. Those people are only given 3,045 for personal care. Only they're not giving transport because they're not on the campus on a daily basis. So you cannot give you transport allowance. You cannot give you accommodation because you are almost all, you're either at work or you're at home. And then, Mr. Masala, can we move? So those are the types of allowances. Those amounts, don't worry about those amounts. Those amounts are just put there for as an example. You are not saying anything. And then we have disability allowances. As Mr. Ngosi was saying, we have an approach whereby we have the social, psychosocial support, and we also have the financial support for people with disability. So a student who comes here, as we are proceeding, we are having a disability desk. Because normally when a student applies for Nsfas online, when they're sitting in somewhere in Zanin, they don't declare on the application that they have a disability. And then the shortcomings start to arise from there. They will be funded as like a normal student. I don't know if it's the right way to use. A normal student, they will be afforded the allowance of a normal student. And then if you can see with a disabled or differently abled student, they might need human support. Human support you normally find it in universities. Someone to push the student around with the wheelchair on a daily basis. Someone to type for the student if they cannot type for themselves. You understand? They will sit with the student in an exam or in a classroom whenever they have to type something on a computer. That person is paid by Nsfas to look after the student, to type, to push the student around. Any other needs that the student can have academically, not personally, not to bath or to feed. No, that one it will be diverted somewhere else. So those are the things that we normally, if the student is declared, there's a process that is given to us. We claim separately for this particular cohort of students. We claim for wheelchairs, we claim for repairs, we claim for if the spectacles, hearing devices, because there are students who have hearing devices. You can see when you speak to them, they are old. You know, everything has its what do you call lifespan. So we procure those things, the assistive computers, those computers that can talk to you, that will read to you and say, read for me this particular thing and release for the student. You can move, Mr. Msala. So those are our responsibilities. I'm just going to go briefly. My responsibility and other FAOs is a joint responsibility, and then it's more responsibility at campus level than me, because I only consolidate the report and put in reports and reconcile on behalf of the campus FAO. Campus FAOs are the ones doing the work. They see the students every day. they do the data, they send the data to me for verification before loading to Nsfas. So we assist with applications. We make sure our students submit the correct documents. After all those processes, we make sure students apply for the correct allowances. And then we make sure the right documentation are attached for those allowances. And after we make sure the tuition, the allowances, whatever is due from the student, after all verification that the student has met the requirements, we make sure we submit the reg. We call it the reg. In finance terms, we call it a claim. It's like invoicing Nsfas. To say, these students are on 1, 2, 3, this one is doing hospitality, this one is doing tourism, this is how much are the fees for annual, this is the amount for fees for trimester, this is the amount, whatever cost, this is the amount of allowance they should get monthly, they should get annually, they should get on a trimester basis. Can we move to the last one? So the students, their main is to apply on time. Apply on time, appeal on time. Submit the correct documents. You know, in our time, when you were still studying, people's parents were deceased. But in graduation, they miraculously appeared. Yeah, you used to use your grandmother's SASA documents to apply for Nsfas. That system, we are now on a system. Whatever you put as a student on the system, there's a background check with SARS. There's a background check with Home Affairs. If you're a South African, there's a background check. So you'll find a student saying, I have a legal guardian. And they will say, where's the legal guardianship document? Because I just want to mention this thing in my closing. We have a problem, or maybe it was lack of education or information in the past. Normally when my parents would pass away, my uncle will just take me and go and stay there with my aunt. There's no legal process. There's no legal process. There are no social workers involved so that the student can be. There are some grants that kids are losing on because of these documents are not there. Letters from the social work, proof of legal guardianship. There are students who don't have parents, they are staying with their extended relatives, but they cannot produce a proof of legal guardianship. Parents who separate, they don't divorce. And you say, my parents are divorced, they say, where is the decree? The students can't provide. And those instances, sometimes, if we don't intervene and find other alternatives, students end up being rejected, and you'll find it's a legitimate case. There are no parents, the parents have separated, or the parents disappeared. So those are the things that when you talk to the learners at high school level, secondary level, those are the things that that's the information that we should be spreading to say, I've realized that gap that we as black people, I'm going to be specific, we have that problem. We just take your sister's child, you stay with them, you don't go to social workers. They reach university, college, they can't provide documentation, they are rejected, the cost goes back to you, and it's a legitimate case. So I'm just giving an example of the challenges that we face. So students must apply on time. Make sure they submit the correct documents. If students don't understand, they should ask at the nearest institution. I mean, there are colleges almost everywhere. Even you go to deep rural areas, in the Eastern Cape especially, you will find the Tibet College. Universities, yes. Kindalinje. No, let me not be controversial. You can. Sorry, Mr. Move to the next slide.
Being personal,
I'm not being personal. My brother, you know, we must face reality. We have rural and semi-rural or peri-urban. Limpopo is Limpopo is the province. We can the province on its own move. We can let's see. So these are this is too technical to explain. It needs you to go through the document. Can we move? Thank you so much for your undivided attention. Okay, I'm done with Nsfas. I was going to go there. I didn't prepare a presentation on other funders because they come with their own conditions and they change. So I'm going to just say we have specific bursaries for engineering, for example. We have, Gibela, that one in Nigeria. We have a Gibela bursary specifically for engineering. I'm just giving you an example. We have MQA, we have PKs, BPAMs. Normally they fund engineering students. Also those bursaries are administered through my office. We have SITA bursaries, like I have, what do you call? Facet. Our facet, food bev in SITA, we have those bursaries. They offer bursaries and training at the same time. So we have those kinds of bursaries. In the meantime, our approach, we are saying, we want to also engage the private sector. I've already been engaging a private company, assist them with some processes. So that company will be coming on board also to offer, because I don't want to own this office. The college, my vision is the college vision. My vision is to make sure that we reduce the number of students on government grants. We have banks that are benefiting from our students. We have retail shops that are benefiting from our students in Springs. So those people are the people who will be approaching. As we move forward to come on board to say, if we have a wholesale and retail course at EEC, what are you giving our students because they are buying from you? Employ them, give them internships. If there's funding, fund 10, fund 20. It's not bad. Fund something, do something. Even our partners within the college, we have banks that are banking with us. We are saying to them, ABSA, what are you giving our students? We have finance students, you are a financial institution. Take some more financial management students, train them. So that is the vision that we'll be taking as a college to say, we are grateful for the government grant, but the government cannot solve all our problems. Private sector must come in, the community must come into this space and assist. So that when we move forward, we know we are not doing this for the sake of being known or being celebrities. We are doing this for the future of the black child. Because education, I know education, once one person graduates in the family, likelihood is there will be the next and the next, and the poverty will be gradually eradicated from that family. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our applications normally start around November. No? It will depend on the board or the new management. So around October, November, the applications open for the next year. The ones that we have currently are for the remaining cycles of the year.
I'd like to call upon our next presentation from Mr. Mbolekwa, who is our Assistant Director in Marketing and Communication. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately as well, I didn't prepare a nice presentation. I just prepared some kind of a speech because look, I'm not going to be really talking into things that they might need to be shared. Just like I was introduced, my name is Zuko Mbolekwa. I'm the Assistant Director for Marketing and Communication here at the Nsfas College. Let me just go straight to my presentation. Mine here, I'm just requested to speak about the access to schools and the benefit thereof. As marketing and communications department, we often engage with high schools and communities. However, there's something that we've been missing. I think it's the core of the business today. When you go to schools, we interact with your kids, you call them in the ground, you speak to them. And a recent literature has revealed to us that in an actual fact, when we speak to kids, we are living teachers and principals who are very influential when it comes to the decision making of these kids. Then we decided to say, no, let's call the teachers and HODs and principals and so on. Then we speak to them so that they've got an understanding of what is a TVET college, which is very, very important. And very soon, my department will be rolling out a 1 month full program in Kwatsaduza where we speak only to parents, not to our kids. Because we feel that teachers, I'm sorry to say this thing, they are really not understanding what is TVET colleges. What do you offer? Hence we called Bob Nsfas, to explain to you so that when you become our mouthpiece or our ambassadors. To talk to a kid and say, no, TVET colleges are actually an option or a priority that you need to really check. Because the reality of the matter is, not everyone that you teach is gonna be accepted at university. So it is important, whether, I don't care which school you study, whether it's a private, public, and what, not everyone is actually university material. In fact, despite the material issue, not everyone is interested to go to university. So that is why we called you here. So I'm giving a topic here to say, speak on access. Now, we really want to appeal to principals, to HODs, to really grant us access when we visit these schools. We have really a serious challenge when we go to schools. You get there, they tell you that, no, you didn't make an appointment. Okay, so give me the number, I want to make an appointment. Say, no, we don't give the number, principal. Okay, then what must we do? I just want to share with everyone that is here that when you deny institutions of higher learning access into your schools, you are actually limiting opportunities for your learners. And by limiting opportunities for your learners, you are actually killing the family in which this boy or this girl is coming from. Because that person, once he or she makes an uncomfortable or a wrong decision, the person is likely to not to get a job or not to open any business and end up be one of the statistics that is loitering in the streets. So we really appeal that we should be granted access to schools so that we give information, and when we share this information, in most cases actually when we share information, it's not even about the college, it's about the higher education and training. So that we can expand choices. We just present a platform in which these students are going to be chosen from. We want to also encourage you, colleagues, that when you get to schools, don't only grant us an opportunity to get there, even other institutions of higher learning. And also encourage students, say, apply to as many universities and colleges as possible, so that we don't find our learners sitting at home. When we go to schools, just last week, we had a situation where the exhibition where we invited learners. In that particular school, everyone literally, they want to go to UCT. And you can see that this emerges from somewhere. It can't be that every grade 12 in the school want to go to one university. So that is why we call this kind of sitting to sensitize teachers and say, let colleges to have access into your schools, because we're struggling with access. Then I'm also requested to cover the benefits of this access. Why do we need access to your school? Number one is simple: sharing of information with your learners, capacitating them to make an informed choice. Because majority of our learners, where they're seated, They still want to be doctors, still want to be lawyers. But as someone who is doing grade 12 now will only work at least after 5 years, will the lawyers be still relevant? Because some of the courses, they're becoming denatured, or they're becoming outdated, or they're losing their interest. But if you allow access from these universities, from colleges and so on, particularly this particular college, because it's well informed, you're giving the learners an opportunity to be introduced into futuristic courses. Because we are in this space, we know what will be demanded in 2030, what will be demanded in 2040. So it's very important. The other benefit that we need to look at, over and above just sharing of information, you allow these kids to be able to express themselves, not you as a teacher. Because some of these kids, they really want to be an engineer or an artisan. But because there's a teacher who knows that this kid is good in math, then I'm going to say, you must be a doctor. You every day when this kid comes in class, you are going to be a doctor. Then the person goes and applies being a doctor and get bored. Just a board on that course and end up failing. But when they interact directly with us, we give them advice, we put the platform and say, look, this is you. That's why we've got tests like your I-Enabler, where we look at the skills. The people will be filling this kind of questionnaire. Then this system will determine that you are good at this as such. These are the preferred course for you. Instead of a parent or a teacher to force or to realize their failed dreams through a child. So we really want to be allowed access, and we really want to say to you, there are benefits when we talk to your learners than when you talk to your learners. Because of the position in which we are found. That's our daily work. That's what I do every day. I wake up in the morning, think about creating access at the college. Mine is very short. Last part that I just want to mention under access. Tibet colleges are not institutions zomsebenzi wezandla. I'm putting it exactly how it's interpreted in LO3. We are not an institution zomsebenzi wezandla. In English, I don't want to do a direct translation because it might sound wrong. But in most instances, Tibet colleges are viewed as institutions that offer practical work. No, not practical institutions. We can do practical. Because the word is on its own is demeaning. That is why you cannot even interpret it in English. Because demeaning is like you come at the Tibet college, the only thing that you do, you cook, go home. There's no academic work, and it's not such. So we need to talk to teachers so that teachers can go back and say, at the Tibet college, there is a system where people are administered according to how they passed. Number one. For an example, you may not be able to do any of our engineering courses if you did not do a pure maths. So this notion that says we are a college that administers people who have failed or people who are only good with their hands is not true. It is not true. We've got courses here like your marketing and communication where there's nothing that has to do with hands. You understand? So it is important that we speak to the lecturers, the teachers, and we also speak to the principals. So when they go back to schools, to their various schools, be able to translate this message. So today we called you here actually to say, please go back and be our ambassadors. Please go back and say, whatever we would have known that the college is 135 is actually not. That is why here we're putting all this presentation, say there's administration, there's Nsfas and so on. And colleges are not meant for poor people. Colleges are meant for teaching and learning. Whether you are poor or you are rich. Now, in other communities, there's this notion that says, if you go to a college, it means. No, there's no such. And also there's this notion again that I wanted to do away with, that says if you go to a college, you're going to struggle with employment. It's not true. Our employment rate is as high as most universities that I know of. Why is it so high? You know why it's so high? Because at this college, before you can get, let's say for example you are doing your diploma. Before you can get your diploma, we give you an academic work and we give you practical. In short, I don't know if you know that. In short, your first job comes from us. So by the time you graduate, you've got a work experience in your CV. Which are the things which are the parallels that we need to draw from universities and colleges. By the time you graduate with us, you've got a minimum of 6 months of 1.5 years experience, which is so good. Now it makes your opportunities of employability to be high, become more employable. So these are the things that we want to talk to the principals, to talk to the HODs, to talk to the teachers, so that when you go back, you are able to relate to your student to your learners that please go to visit college, get more information, but whatever would have known about the college is not necessarily correct. With that all said, I just want to thank you very much, and I know that there are no questions. Are there questions?
Suddenly